Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to address this subject of homelessness, and it certainly requires much more than a few minutes of video. It's a very delicate subject, and I know that all of us would prefer that there be no homeless people in this world. And I believe we can go to extremes on either side. And one of the things that reminded me of it is I just was getting some coffee, and someone was trying to get my attention, and I was in a hurry and I just couldn't stop. So anyway, didn't help them out. Um, I grew up in a family where I never had to worry about being clothed, having a roof over my head, having a meal every day, several of them, big ones. I had a middle class family, pretty much. My dad was a professor of music. My mom taught music as well, so we had two incomes. And I was pretty spoiled, actually, to tell you the truth. Maybe not some, people, but I was. I didn't get everything I wanted, but I usually had a car paid for. They paid for my insurance. Good grief, they paid for everything while I was staying there anyway, and then was an idiot and got kicked out when I was 21 and deserved to be kicked out. I was disrespectful. But I still was never homeless, and my mom would still never let me go without. So then comes this issue of how to respond to people who ask us for money, ask for handouts, people on street corners, on the median, hanging out at gas stations, little signs that say God bless and so forth, or a veteran, disabled people, and they cover the gamut. Seriously, you have people that look like they're in fine shape, you have people that are excessively overweight, you have veterans, you have people without legs. I mean, it's just all kinds of different people, all kinds of different races. So how do we respond? I think many Christians have been quick to just say, especially the hardcore Republicans, get a job, or, stop asking for handouts. And I think that there's a sense of insensitivity to those people. So I think we have to be careful there, but I think we can go to the other extreme too and not be cautious. Sometimes people would say to me, yeah, isn't it judgmental if you're going to give someone some money to ask what it's being used for? No, I don't think so. The money that I have was given to me, I believe, by God. And I try to be a wise steward, and I'm not using this to justify not giving or giving, but I try to be a wise steward with that. And when someone asks me for money, I have a wealth of experience to gather from life experience with drug addicts, having been a drug addict for a short period of time, over a decade ago. And so I do have compassion for drug addicts, but if I sense that someone's a drug addict or they're displaying characteristics of someone who is addicted to drugs, then I have an obligation to consider what I'm giving for, the reason I'm giving them money. What if they're getting the money to get drugs or buy drugs and then sell those drugs, say, for instance, to kids? Indirectly, I am contributing to the delinquency of minors or the delinquency of anyone. Drugs are not healthy. Or if a drunk comes up and asks me for money, I don't want him to spend more money damaging his liver, damaging his kidneys, his organs, his heart. I have a right to ask. If someone wants to borrow money or get money from me, I have a right to ask them. And if they say for food, I have a right to say, well, let's go sit down and grab a bite to eat. Or if they say, well, we're stuck here, we ran out of gas. Oh, where's your gas can? Oh, well, the car, it's back at the car. I'm just here asking people for money. Oh, okay. Well, let me give you a ride back to your car, and we'll go get the can. And hopefully there's a real reason. I've been in situations like that where, yeah, I filled up their gas can. Not patting my back, but I believe that we have an obligation to be discerning, not to be judgmental, and certainly not to stereotype. Some people say we'll work for food. That's great. Don't give them a handout. Give them a job. If you have something that needs to be done, give them a job, but don't give them a handout. That means that they're able to work. So that's great. You have an opportunity to employ them and a great opportunity to give them cash under the table. Some people say, what? I think it's awesome. So anyway, those are things to consider. I think we can go to extremes on both sides. We should always have tender hearts. We should always look at the homeless with compassion, but also with discernment. We shouldn't go to either extreme. I think that that's careless, and I think it's lazy. I think we can be lazy on both sides. We should always seek to help people, seek to provide for them if they truly need it. Seek to be discerning. Ask questions. You have a right. Don't let some self-righteous hypocrite make you feel guilty for not giving, or make you feel guilty for asking what they're going to use the money for. Just where the Lord leads you. Be discerning. Be cautious. And remember this, that 2 Thessalonians, I think it's very clear. It says, obviously to the person who's able, it says, let him who does not work not eat. And man, I just sit there. I don't want to judge someone and say, well, you need to get a job. I need to step back and say, golly, I'm just thankful that God gave me a job. I worked 2 summers when I was in high school in construction, digging ditches one summer. And this is in the hot sun of Sacramento. And then another summer installing fiberglass insulation in attics, in this 100-degree weather. It was awful. It was horrible. And so I thought, I want to go to school. I don't want to dig ditches. I don't want to install insulation in attics. I don't care how much you pay me. I'd rather die. It was awful. And, you come out of there, you're all itching. So anyway, I just wanted to emphasize that to you. And remember 2 Thessalonians. Let him who does not work not eat. This country is built on hard workers, or at least it was at a time. And, you run into someone who is working and they need money, golly, give them more, help them out. I've seen guys who are working hard jobs and they have 4 and 5 kids and they're doing hard labor and they're making 12, 13, 15 bucks an hour. Man, help them out. Good grief, but you use your discernment, and because one of these days we may need help. I've needed help, and I just thank God for parents who loved me and who did help me and gave to me, and sometimes maybe more than they should have. But just be grateful. Everything we own can be taken from us in an instant, and we could be homeless. So anyway, be wise, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you always have compassionate, tender spirits to look out for those in need and care for them. God bless you.